two-time marathoner, a fitness and resilience coach, a motivational speaker, author, and leadership consultant. Now, her just energy is just paired with stories and it's just like packing it all in. She really empowers others to perhaps actually beyond the limits by sharing from the military, all of those levels, her days as a professional athlete, dancer, and entrepreneur. Is that something? The motivational author, coach, and creator on a mission to empower an everyday person on the planet to put themselves and their health first for just 34 minutes, which I love because everybody on here is really completely that important. I love that. So, welcome, Krystalore, to the Creative Power of Life. How are you?
Thank you so much, April.
I'm excited too because so long your background, I've got a lot going on. And here you are having a business, having, operating in 3 different countries, and you haven't been doing it all that long.
No, I feel like I'm just getting started. It's been a wild journey for sure.
Yeah. So what made you want to start a business in the first place?
So back in 2017, my husband, well, I've been in the military for 21 years. My husband also serves, and we got orders to move away. And I had to resign my full-time position in the military and move away from my friends, my family, my career, and everything I knew to move to a small town where I knew no one. And with a master's degree and a lot of experience, I thought it would be easy to get a job. And unfortunately, it wasn't. And so I spent about 6 months pretty depressed without a job away from home and had to do some soul searching. And I ended up going on LinkedIn actually, and found a life coach that focused on transitioning veterans into civilian life. And so that was my first experience with a life coach. And she asked me some powerful questions and got to know my story, which I really wasn't telling it. No one really knew what my background was.
Yeah.
And so I just started to unpeel the layers of the things that I had grown through. And, to continue my service as a woman in a new city, I needed a new mission, a new purpose. And it was through that I explored entrepreneurship. And, enough closed doors opened up a new one. And I had to stand on my own 2 feet and say, what can I do to help others with my story and with my message? And I had been through so much that I'm like, hey, let's do this. And now we've moved 4 times in the last 6 years. And so I'm really grateful to be able to start on that journey so that I don't have to start and stop every time I move to a new city. And so I built an online business in 2017, well before COVID, well before, Zoom even was really born. So it's been a wild ride.
Right. Well, and being in, heavy in the fitness space, a lot of that was probably in person. And then
Yes.
COVID hits and you have to go completely virtual, just like we had to with events, right? We were mainly in person. We were using Zoom to do all of our meetings, but then we had to go completely virtual. Talk to me a little bit about that and how you had to step more into that leadership when those transitions were happening.
Yeah, so my military position is a diversity and inclusion consultant. So I specialize in emotional intelligence and temperament and leadership development. And so I had to get all of my certifications virtually and do all of my credentials through freeconferencecall.com. So that was how I got certified initially because I was coaching people all over the world, right? So that's all I had. And then I would be coaching people in person with fitness everywhere I went to. And then moving every year or year and a half, I didn't get a huge network at home. So I kind of built communities everywhere I moved to and everywhere I traveled to for the military, because bags are always packed, right? So I was constantly in a hotel room, constantly in different training. And so I would just say, hey, you all want to work out? And I developed this system to be able to do a workout within 30 minutes from a hotel room or anywhere or in a parking lot. And I would just gather people everywhere I went. And so it was just, I'm the energy, I'm the people collector, I'm the community leader. I'm the one that planned all the happy hours and all the events. And I was the main person, like getting everyone's numbers and sending group chats and inspiring messages. And so I had all these credentials in the leadership development and the psychology space. And I had this fitness business on the side too. And I'm like, how can I put this together? And so I was trying, and I started actually a separate business. And then COVID happened. And they were like, I had a phone call from a friend, and she's like, all the gyms just shut down. Can you start to teach something online? And so I only had freeconferencecall.com. I had a Facebook account, but I didn't even know what a Facebook group was back then. I didn't like, I had a business coach that she had started a Facebook group, but I didn't have one. And I knew how to create an event. So I literally created a Facebook event, and I put, oh, the graphics were horrible. And my first graphics on Canva, it was messy, it was horrible. And I still have them saved to this day. So I look back to see how far I've come. But created a Facebook event, and I started training online for men, women, children, dance camps, cheer camps, running camps, all over the world from at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. every single day. And then ended up creating a membership out of it. I did 30-day challenges at first. And then these women are like, you're like our babysitter for the kids. They love to work out with you. My husband's working out. It's a family thing. We're not going back to the gym. We're stuck with you. You better keep doing this. And so back then I had a landing page with MailChimp. I did a free like course on a 1-hour workshop, how to create a landing page. And back then it didn't allow for memberships. So I went through PayPal, then went through Stripe, went through several iterations of a website to be able to get to where it is today, where now I have, women in 3 countries and multiple women on 6-month contracts, 12-month contracts, and the kids work out. And now we have a 6-month group coaching program where we go through nutrition and confidence and relationships and boundaries, and then to the retreats now in Costa Rica. So it's been a
Ooh,
wild ride just from one phone call.
right. So when you started this, it probably had no recollection or like vision of what it is today. I would assume it sounds like you were like, I'm just going to start, and people said that they need this, and I'm going to, do it from the hotel room, and because we're moving or whatever. And then it sounds like it's just kind of progressed based on what your audience is saying they want. Is that right?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't believe it at first. I didn't even think I was worthy of like doing. I really did not, be honest. That's a whole nother story for another day, whole nother worthiness series and identity crisis, because that really was, I had to step into receiving the feedback and believing it. And that a lot of times fueled me forward. I'm like, wow, I really can make a difference. And then I started to believe it, and I traveled around with a tripod, and I was so afraid to be on social media
Yeah.
before this, because in the military, we're not supposed to really share a lot of, things. That's just kind of how we're taught. And I was always kind of grown up to be seen and not heard. And so I didn't always have a voice or feel like I could have a voice. So I had to go through a lot of things in the beginning to be visible online. And then once I just started traveling all over, and I got really used to being just me, and I and people just loved me sharing my story and just my rawness of, I could be on the side of a road in Miami or the downtown in Berlin or on the beach of Jamaica, or, in a hotel room when I'm traveling for the military. And it was a no matter what. And I've missed maybe one workout since March 17th of 2020. So I established consistency and that discipline as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, with an element of vulnerability and growth that allows my clients to be able to do the same. And they're like, if
Yeah.
she could do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
And so,
I could definitely see that. So okay, you've done this, but how, like, break down for us really, how do you stay so focused and so consistent where you've only missed one since 2020? How do you do it?
so there's a couple things. The first thing is the 34-minute mindset. And so in my intro, you mentioned 34 minutes a day. That is kind of my claim to fame, if you will, is really trying to navigate a toolkit that is very manageable for a busy entrepreneur, someone that is traveling, someone that is busy and pulled in 10,000 directions, but really just being centered each day for at least 34 minutes. So it starts with 2 minutes of goal setting and gratitude and intentions and mapping out the day. So you know, my planner's on Amazon and maps it out, but you don't need a fancy journal or anything. You can just have a Post-it note or a notebook near your bedside, just to really start the day with you and your thoughts and your intentions and gratitude. And the most high performers that I've studied, and everyone that's like has this practice, and it has been a game changer for me, because entrepreneurship, as we know, can be lonely. And it's a long journey, and it's like a marathon. I've run a lot of marathons, so spent a lot of time alone in my thoughts. It can be very lonely. So that's the first 2 minutes of every day. Then we do 30 minutes of movement, non-negotiable. So 30 minutes of moving your body, no matter what, to be able to pour into everyone else, to have the energy. And so that's part of the daily non-negotiable. And then at the end of each day, we reflect and celebrate and sink in the wins, the things that you've done, the emotions that came up, what got in the way, and what can we do differently tomorrow. So that's initially the 34-minute mindset that is really just bookends each day and then has the 30 minutes of movement. Now in between there are some prompts in there that asks about hydration, your workouts, your nutrition, you know, did you fuel yourself properly? And how are the emotions and what data do we have? How is your environment? That because I think a lot of times we can judge ourselves, especially if we're trying to go after the next big lofty goal. It's like, oh, we have so much farther to go. And I learned really quickly that I need to sink in each day and celebrate how far I have come instead of how much farther I have to go. And that just fuels me forward even more.
Yeah, I noticed that the not stopping and celebrating those wins, it's like we just keep pushing forward and not actually look at what we've accomplished so far and celebrate that. It's just like, okay, great, that now on to the next. And you're like, whoa, just reflect on that for a second.
Yeah.
That in
Yeah.
itself, I think is an easy, actionable, something that, you know, what our listeners can do right now if they're not currently doing, you know. And if you're pointing that to your 2 minutes on your bookends of your day, it's 2 minutes, 4 total.
Yes.
I think you've got 4 minutes that you can add to like celebrate.
Yes. And it helps sleep too. It really helps sink in the day, because when we lay awake at night, we're in our thoughts and the mind races, because it's still processing all the data and all the scrolling on social media and the emails that you've had to read, or maybe the ones that you didn't get to, or the things that are like looming in that you forgot to do, or that one client that you never reached back out to. And you're like, oh, that's keeping you up at night. When you can write that down and just say, you know what, tomorrow's a new day. And what are we going to do differently to set ourselves up for success for tomorrow? It just brings so much more presence to the day. And when we can get our body and our nervous system used to that, we can be more grounded and calm, and not be so reactive in what I call spaghetti brain of like, with the deer in the headlights, like, because pants on fire, everything's a priority.
Yeah.
And so I love to just, you know, picture the, you know, as a woman, I always, you know, the females in my life, I always say, like, you want to be a swan, you know, gliding across the, you know, the pond, you know, the little things are going underneath, but you just have a presence and a groundedness to you and an energy when you put these things into practice and they are truly aligned, that is what keeps me going. And so the second piece to this is knowing that you're a role model and a change maker, and that people need you at 100%. They need the trust and credibility. They need that consistency. They need to know that, hey, Crystal's going to be there no matter what. And she may be going through some stuff. She's going to be paddling underneath, but she's going to be there for you. She's going to hold the space and be present and help move you forward. Now I ask for help and I have my own mentors and coaches and support, right? But that is something I don't bring into the space sometimes, because I know that I'm a role model and people are always watching. And so your question to ask about how do I continue to keep that consistency? I know that I need to be a role model for everyone that needs me to be consistent so that they can have more consistency in their life. So I must lead from the front. And I'm not perfect. And, but I do share a lot of that. But at the grand, what gets me out of bed in the morning is it's a me first, so that I can pour into everyone else.
Yeah. It's like putting the mask on you first, so then you can serve from your overflow. Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like we were chatting before we press play here. Anybody can be like, oh, I've got something on YouTube I can watch to work out, or I'm gonna, do this on my own, or what have you. But what we were discussing was it's not necessarily about what it is that you're doing. It's like who you're doing it with, and it's the community, and that's the support and the accountability and the consistency that it sounds like you and your crew come together to do together and do that cruise beyond limits, right?
Yes. It's all about the community. I mean, let's face it, business owners, we have to be on all the time and we have to be everything for everyone. And sometimes in the pursuit of that, we tend to put our health and wellness on the back burner. And so what I've created is a space of a lot of people that tend to do that. So it's a great space for us to be like, hey, I'm a productive entrepreneur. I am a CEO. I'm a speaker. I'm an author. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. I'm a mom. I'm all these things. I have a lot of people in the military too, that are, high ranking, high level people that they're like, I poured so much into motherhood or my business or my career that I need to focus on this part. Like I wear this title, but inside I wear black all the time, or I shy away from taking pictures, or like, I don't want to get a photo shoot, or I don't want to get on stage, or I don't want to press play and hit live on social media because I don't like my double chin. I don't like how I look and I don't feel good. And, but so it's almost like these two lives that we live sometimes. And so what keeps people coming back in Cruise Beyond Limits is not only accountability, but the safe space that everyone can just be there to live happier and healthier, try to have more accountability, more hacks on how to, have better meal prepping, good nutrition, helping, hey, did you drink your water today? Like it's a fun environment and is in a safe space where there's no judgment. I don't require before and after pictures. It's really just a space where we're all like, hey, some people do.
Yeah.
They get the courage and they'll drop it in there. And the celebration that we have to say, you know what, I have so much more energy to be able to pour into my clients, to be able to travel and not feel like I have to start all over and be completely depleted when I arrive, maybe for an event, for instance, where you have to be on stage for a keynote. Or in my case, sometimes I do leadership workshops for sometimes 40 hours. That's just the teaching itself. That doesn't include the breakdown, the setup, and everything in between, and the networking. And it's like, I have to be on, and so do my clients. And so really creating a system where you have the accountability and support, no matter where you're at in the world, you can take us with you.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to a gym and spend 3 hours. You literally just have a space so that consistency and that discipline is there for you, so you can have the energy and just work at this, because we're all a work in progress.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to kind of switch gears a little bit. So we are, all about peeking behind the curtain and seeing the behind the scenes. And I would love if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about how you are, continuing to scale the business and what it's been like to bring on team and fire team and bring on new team and anything that you've learned in that process thus far, and or where you guys are going and what is the vision looking like?
Yeah. So the most beautiful part, I think, is being able to grow organically and have these kind of growth parts in your career and in your business where it's like, I know I need more help. And it's like that sticky point where I'm like, I'm doing so much and I'm like, overwhelmed. And I'm like, okay, this is the point where I'm like, okay, where can I implement more systems, or where can I ask for more help? And I'll be honest, in the beginning, I didn't always do it. And I was burned out a lot. And it really wasn't until a couple years ago where I started asking for more help. I grew this online business in this community in multiple countries, and I was doing these coaching programs. And then everyone wanted to meet in person. And I hosted a retreat in Costa Rica, which, I did 3 last year, and then I did 1 this past May, and I have 1 more in September. And I flew my husband there too, for him to help me. We were like going to set this whole thing up. And he ended up getting sick.
Oh no.
He got like dysentery on the first day, and he did his best to help, but I ran ragged for that event. And I had a housekeeper, I had other people that I kind of hired, but it was in those moments that my clients that loved me and supported me and went on this journey with me in Costa Rica, like they had no idea what they're getting into, but they saw the behind the scenes of everything that I was doing. And so it was in those moments where a couple of them had stepped forward and they're like, hey, how can I help you? And so that was really cool to be able to grow from within, from, loyal clients that have lived the brand. They've been through all of my programs, and now they're advocates, and they help build the brand, because what we do is very special. It's unique, where it's not just fitness, it's way more than that. It's really a transformation in inner and outer body confidence and creating a voice. And so you can't really, people try to put you in boxes. And so it's been really important for me to grow from people that have understood the brand, have been with me for a while. And so now I have a coaching certification program. And so I'm bringing on more team members to be able to grow and scale the business in a way that brings out the strengths within them that they're really excited about. And so they're seeing like, hey, I can help in this area, and I can help in this area. And I'm coaching them to be mentors within the community. And some of them want to just work in the Cruise Beyond Limits brand, but some of them want to be entrepreneurs as well. So it's a collab. So I'm creating collaborative partners and brand partners that align with the values and the brand. So I don't really have to train a lot. Now, we'll say there were a couple times where I didn't do that, and it got a little chaotic. And so I do have a rule now. You have to go through, in order to be on my team, you have to go through the program as if you were a client, so that you can understand the journey that our clients go through, so that we can really give them the white glove treatment that they deserve, and the love and support and accountability and compassion that is necessary to take these people through the journey that is necessary. Yeah. So it wasn't always pretty. Yeah, there's rules. Now I have like a whole set of rules that I've had to come up with.
Well, when you see rules, you're like, oh, there's a reason for that rule. Something happened.
It's
there's
a joke.
reason for that rule. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a running joke.
It.
It's like, ask me how I know, is kind of how I say it. I'm like, okay, here's what I would recommend, and here's the rules. And I'm like, ask me how I know, because there's a story for everything.
Yep. Yeah. Same thing for me on my certification of having certified event producers. And, they have to be doing events with me and they have to shadow it. So not only do they
Yes.
go through the curriculum, but then they're actually doing events with me before they become certified, right? And it's like, I need to see, what it is you're doing, whether you go off and do it as, part of your own business or you come as part of my team. I need to be able to like, oh, well, this is the tweak or nuance of why we do it this way, right? You can only teach and show so much in modules and documentation and such. It's when you are really there in the moment doing it.
Yes.
Right. And it's
I
coming
agree.
through that you really learn the details of it. So that's amazing. Congratulations on the certification. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, as we start to wrap up here, if people are interested in learning more about the 34 minutes a day or the planner or, want to get a part of the crew, how do they best do that? And do you have a free gift for our audience?
Yes. Well, I'll start with the free gift because I think that might help. The daily non-negotiables can be very overwhelming. Even the 34 minutes a day, that might even be too much. And so my free gift here today is a 30-day habit tracker. So it allows you to just take maybe one or two things that you want to work on and improve. Maybe it's just drinking your water, right? Or not hitting the snooze button. Some things that I have on mine is reading for 10 minutes every day, meditating, having a present moment with my husband, going to bed by 10, getting a good evening routine. But so that's my gift to really just figure out, all right, what are the small needle making moves that are going to launch your business forward and help you elevate that you can track? Because as we know, what we track is how we can succeed, right?
Mhm.
So those are the things that our brain is constantly processing. So that's my gift to you. It's a 30-day habit tracker. You can type it in or print it out. I'm a kind of a paper and pen kind of person. The psychology behind that, there's studies behind that as well. So, but I do have it as a digital version. So my website though is krystalorecrews.com. It's KRYSTALORECREWS.com. And the habit tracker is krystalorecrews.com/habit tracker. Super easy. But I just love to connect with others and see how I can support you and in your journey of entrepreneurship and business owners and scaling and building. It's been a wonderful journey and it can feel very lonely, but it doesn't have to be that way. So I have an amazing community of people that are just trying to live happier, healthier, and wealthier. So, because our health is our wealth.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely is. And it also helps us make the monetary wealth more. So there's so
Yes.
many iterations of that. Beautiful.
Mhm.
So we will have the link to that in the show notes. My last question for you, what is a takeaway or memorable note that you would like to leave our audience with today?
I will say that in every stage of maybe your life or your business, or maybe in your fitness journey, there are going to be obstacles, there are going to be challenges, but knowing who you are to the core and knowing the direction that you're going in, setting manageable goals and milestones, and just working every day towards that pursuit. There's going to be challenges, there's going to be things that come up, but if you have your daily non-negotiables and a great team to do it with, you are set up for success, and people are going to hold you accountable. They're going to cheer you on. They're going to help you celebrate when you achieve that next step. They're going to see all the things in between, the hard work, the struggles. And so just keep going, keep striving and making sure that you have your daily non-negotiables. So you're unshakable, unbreakable, and you can reach that next level.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for being with us today. And I want to thank our audience for joining us on another episode of Creating Powerful Impact. I'm excited for you to take all the lessons and the resources that you've learned here, implement them so that you can create even more impact in your world. Until next time, have an outstanding rest of your day. Take care. Thank you so much for listening to the Creating Powerful Impact podcast. If you are a successful coach, speaker, author, or thought leader who would like to be on this program, simply visit creatingpowerfulimpact.com/guest. If you are someone who got something out of this interview, would you please do me a favor and share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend or post it on your socials. Also, if you know somebody that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show, and include the hashtag creating powerful impact. I love seeing all of your posts and great guest selections. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, go ahead and subscribe. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show, and they really mean a lot to me and my team. Want to know more about us? Head on over to our website, graceandeaseproductions.com, or follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram. Just look for Grace and Ease Productions on your favorite platform. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.